Hi, this is Chuck with Juxta Report. Three articles this weekend caught my attention regarding the coronavirus. Two of them were hopeful, third, not so much. But we'll get to that third one in a second here. Of the first two, the first one came from Reuters, reporting on the USS Theodore Roosevelt, where the coronavirus has hit pretty hard there. They've tested almost all of the nearly 5,000 sailors on board and came to a conclusion that 60% of the sailors that were tested positive were asymptomatic. Now, Rear Admiral Bruce Gillingham, who's the Surgeon General of the Navy, said that we're learning that the stealth in the form of asymptomatic transmission is the adversary's secret power. That is a very glass half empty assessment of the situation. The reality, based on this information, is that we may only be recording 40% of the actual cases of the coronavirus. What that means is that while there's more cases out there, the hospitalization and the death rates could be dramatically lower than what we're currently showing them at. Right now, our numbers have us at about 10% hospitalization and almost 5% death percentage. If we factor in this information and say we're only taking in 40% of the actual cases, that means the hospitalization rate is only 4%, and the death rate is only just under 2%. Now, that's still a lot, okay? But the second article gives us an indication that that may, in fact, be too much as it is. The second article comes from hotair.com, and it highlights a study out of Stanford that is indicating that the number of infected could be 50 to 85 times the number of confirmed cases. Now, this is dramatically more than what we're currently showing. And if this is true, this brings those rates down even further. So, for example, the hospitalization rates on the low end of this would be 0.2%, with the death rate being 0.1%. Now, that 0.1% is important because that is the death rate for the flu. So that would put the coronavirus right in that area of just as bad as the flu, which means we are dramatically taking this way too seriously. It's with the stay-at-home orders, shutting down everything. We're just overreacting to the entire situation. On the high end, if it's 85 times more prevalent than what we're actually recording, then we're looking at a hospitalization rate of 0.1% and a death rate of 0.06, which is far below the flu. So if this study bears out, then we could be vastly overreacting to this entire situation. Now, to complicate matters further, the third article from the AP indicates that the CDC is now directing states to record cases as coronavirus when they in fact may not actually be coronavirus. So what they're saying is, even though you don't have a lab test, which is how they've been counting things so far, if they're symptomatic, if they seem like they might be coronavirus, then they should be counted as coronavirus. Well, what that does is that inflates the numbers. So the numbers that are going to be coming out in subsequent days and weeks may not actually bear out to be the actual numbers of the coronavirus infected, and that's just going to stoke more fear, more paranoia, and make this thing last longer than it is expected to now. I mean, for example, Washington State, they're not expecting to open up until May 18th. Now, at this point, we're 4 weeks in to the stay-at-home orders, and the country's lost 22 million jobs. If we continue that trend and we go another month, then this is just absolutely insane. So we need to open things up. We need to, now, when I say open things up, that doesn't mean be stupid, okay? You can go out, go to your job, go do the things you normally do. If you feel that you are afraid of being infected, wear a mask, wear gloves, do what you need to do to make you feel safe. You should by now know how to wash your hands. You should by now know how to stay away from people and interact in a normal manner without being in danger or putting yourself in danger. So we can open up and still stay safe at the same time. So, but like I said, this information here does possibly lead to potential longer stay-at-home orders if they inflate the numbers, and that could lead to further consequences down the road. So we want to try to avoid that. We should pressure the CDC to actually take in numbers that are lab tested and not assume that something is coronavirus when it may actually not be coronavirus.